2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a scapegoat. Welcome to another edition of the C3 Podcast, man. I'm joining to you live from a different setup. I'm not even on camera, man. I just wanted to be able to come on and interact with fans about this breaking news that we have going on. Joe Brady has been fired as the offensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. And boy, oh boy, the opinions that I feel like we're going to hear today, man. Hey, real quick, listen, so this is like a reaction show, kind of like an impromptu Friday free-for-all. If you want to join the show and give your opinion, you don't have to be on camera. The link is in the description down below of the YouTube video and on Facebook. So come on to talk about this firing, man. I'm joined by 2 friends that normally join me on the Friday free-for-all. They decided to come kick it on a Sunday and talk about this breaking news. Kenneth Panther Pickle, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? That's it. I didn't expect it today. I goofed watching a little bit of Chargers and Bengals and messing around on Twitter, and I saw the link pop up. And I thought, this has got to be fake. And as soon as I clicked on it, I thought, wait a minute, this is Panthers. This can't be fake. So, I'm surprised, but I'm really intrigued. Jeff Nick, I guess our running backs coach, called plays for Matt at Baylor. He's going to take care of the offensive coordinator duties.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to be kind of like a group effort.
Yeah,
he doesn't
man.
have any NFL experience, but that Shane Ryan's got plenty of NFL experience. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I'm about to get into it. I'm definitely about to get into it. We got Drew joining us. He was just chilling, playing some Avengers. Man, I'm sorry to take away from you saving the world, brother, but duty calls. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. As I said, I was playing around on my PS5, and all of a sudden I get the alert, and I'm like, oh crap! And then I thought to myself, how you get fired on your day off?
It's a bad day when you're at home just kicking it and you get fired on your day off, man. That's crazy. So
I think Cliffy came in this morning and told Rule is like, either you get rid of him or I get rid of you.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. was just popping in on another podcast, and they were speculating that, or the point, this may be Matt Rule trying to save his job, so to speak.
Yeah. So let me just jump in on this real quick, y'all, because to me, look, I've almost been coined something of a Joe Brady defender, even, and I'm not really, man. I'm not like a, Joe Brady is actually really good, and this is a mistake. All I'm saying is that Joe Brady was never the biggest issue with this offense. If you want to say that he should be fired and that his offensive play calling wasn't inventive enough, fine. Listen, there's a lot of legitimate criticisms to be had about Joe Brady. But when the offensive line has been this badly mismanaged, the quarterback position has been this badly mismanaged. I mean, like, really, what are we expecting? I mean, we thought that it would be better than this, but it's like this is 100% Matt Rule trying to save face for this team being as terrible as it is, because it has no excuse to be this bad.
Right. I just want to throw this a little bit, I guess. Let's remember Joe Brady spent, I believe it was 1 year at LSU, maybe in a few years, but he was only a passing game coordinator. He didn't call plays full time, little red zone, and that's basically about it. And all of a sudden, he gets drugged down here to be offensive coordinator, and he just wasn't prepared yet to be an offensive coordinator. He may still be a great hell of head coach someday, but right now he's just too young at the position. I hope for the best. I hope he goes out and gets him a job. I expect him actually to go back to college. I wouldn't be surprised if he heads back to college.
Hang on real quick.
That's probably a good place for
Matt,
him
what up?
What's up, guys?
Chilling, man. Hey, so so what do you think about this this firing, man? To me, this is Matt Rule 100% trying to save face. And I mean, listen, again, I'm not a Joe Brady defender, everyone. I'm not saying that he has been great this year or last year. I just think that this is a move that Matt Rule made to try and make it look like he's doing something to better this football team. And it's cowardice to me, like all the other decisions that Matt Rule has made this season, frankly.
I agree. There's definitely going to be a lot of red flags now, specifically with the offensive coordinator position. Joe Brady was a big problem to this team, but the biggest line we know is that offensive line. And so it does seem like Matt Rule is trying to save his own butt with this by getting rid of Joe Brady in order to get an extra year. But now, is it the running backs coach that's taking over this job now?
But it's going to be a group effort.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
God.
the running backs.
Yeah, I'm not going to put any pressure on the running backs coach. He was just kind of thrown into this. But I feel like Joe Brady was definitely going to be thrown under the bus at one point or another. I didn't expect it to be this early, though.
So this is the article on Panthers.com. The Panthers are making a change on offense heading into the final 5 games of the season. The team has parted ways with offensive coordinator Joe Brady after he met with head coach Matt Rule Sunday morning. So they called him into the office. They say, I met with Joe this morning and I informed him that I've decided to make a change. I'm very grateful to him for his time and effort in helping us get established over this past year and a half. Now for the final 5 games of the year, senior offensive assistant Jeff Nixon will coordinate the offense in conjunction with the remainder of the offensive coaching staff. And I mean, dude, like, I don't know what this makes better. I don't know what does firing Joe Brady do for this football
This
team?
puts us in a worse spot, if anything.
Yeah, I mean,
right. I really do, because I believe once again Matt Rule is a day late and a dollar short. If he was going to do something like this, he should have done this 3 or 4 games ago, because all this is going to do now, I'm almost willing to put money we'll beat Atlanta now. but that doesn't help us the rest of the season. All it does is puts us in a worse draft position at this point. We're not making the playoffs.
Yep. Let me welcome in Brad to this discussion, and I'll ask this to anyone. Like, was Joe Brady at any point in time this season or last season? I also pose this question to everyone in the chat. Has Joe Brady been the biggest issue with the Carolina Panthers offense?
I don't think so. I think he's one of them, but I don't think he's been the biggest issue. I mean, he's scheming folks open. The problem is that, especially this season, he wanted to run the Saints style offense, which is predicated on having a high completion percentage, short routes, and other teams just got wise to it.
I don't think he was the biggest issue. There was issues he could have done better. That goes without saying. A majority of the problem on this team has been roster management. And since we kind of know Matt Rule does roster management, your quarterbacks, your quarterbacks, you go to one quarterback, you don't like him after 1 year, even though you gave him a big deal. So you train him and get somebody who's already failed somewhere else and bring him in. You don't improve the offensive line. Even the guys that you draft, you're scared to use because if they're not ready, why draft them?
And whose decision is that on? Whose decision is that
That's
on?
Matt Rule.
100%.
So to kind of elaborate on that point, right? John Ellis tweeted out a few minutes ago that he has a league source who said he's not surprised with the Joe Brady firing because the seats are getting hot in Carolina.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. I know some people are speculating that this saves Matt Rule's job, and I would prefer to look at it this way. Matt Rule's at a situation, what he's tried to do for 2 years is not working. So you're going to draw the names out of a hat. Maybe Nick's mixing with or whatever. Maybe this is Matt Rule's point to say, okay, if I can win a couple games to save my job, then I'll know whether these guys can do it or not. And if I don't think Matt Rule's job is completely safe, but I also believe that if he stays, Tepper is still going to go out and bring somebody in that he could at very least finish next year out, because he's not going to allow the same coaches to be in charge when, if per se next year he fires Matt Rule and he ain't got nobody to lean on.
And by the way, I don't even agree.
Offensive line fix, and honestly, hey guys, I got to jump off here, but I'll keep listening and being in the chat.
Yeah, you cool. Appreciate you, Drew. But listen, I don't even agree with the notion that this is gonna save Matt Rule's job. If we continue to look absolutely abysmal going down the road, then what does firing Joe Brady have anything to do with Matt Rule's long-term tenure? I mean, can't I even make an argument that the decision to hire Joe Brady was probably just as much on David Tepper as it was Matt Rule?
Oh yeah,
am I out of line in saying that?
No. Let's be honest though. Like, can we really say that was there ever a game plan from both Matt Rule and Joe Brady this season? It started out with like this little dream, whatever, with the Sam Darnold thing going on. But let's be honest, that didn't work out. Anything they've tried hasn't really worked, mainly because the offensive line has been horrid.
Right.
So it really seems fruitless to fire Brady now after you've done so poor this bad so far. Is that it would have just made sense just to keep him at least to the end of the season, because I don't know if from here on out for the rest of the season that's going to be a good thing. Like, okay, maybe there's a chance with the new guy taking up the offensive coordinator position, or are we actually just trying to tank now?
See, and that's the thing that people don't realize, right? Even though they fired Joe Brady and they have a new offensive assistant and offensive coaches trying to take up the play calling duties, they're still going to be running with the same playbook, right? I mean, you had if they would have done this at the start of this week, they could have said, okay, no, we're not taking a week off. We're installing a new offensive playbook. We're gonna insert some new wrinkles. We're gonna do some things differently. But no, they didn't. They waited until a couple days before people come back from practice and told the players to take the week off. They're going to be running the same exact playbook. I mean, it's just going to be a matter of who's going to be calling which plays they're running, right? So, as far as this seems like an overcorrection. Like I expected some firings to happen this week because Matt Rule, he's in Ron Rivera territory, right? Where Ron Rivera, towards the end of his tenure, they were laying off. He fired position coaches. He did everything he could so that he could save his job and say, okay, I'm going to have there will be changes next season, and I will oversee certain things, right? Yeah. I didn't expect them to straight up fire the offensive coordinator.
And what does this signal to your players? I mean, you've been preaching about
stability.
The system and doing the right thing and buying in to what we're doing, and it's not like they aren't trying to live up to Matt Rule's system. It's just that Matt Rule's system doesn't exist, and when you fire your offensive coordinator, it's like you're signaling to the entire world you haven't the foggiest idea what you're doing with this football team.
Right. Also, it took Cam, 2 weeks, or at least 2 weeks to learn the playbook to play a little bit. And he's a veteran. So some of these young guys, if you change offensive coordinators in the middle of the season, or you try to change playbooks in the middle of the season, it's just not going to work. Maybe, and I'm just guessing here. Maybe there's some reason they think that play calling was a bigger issue. I don't think it was. I still believe Matt Rule will be fired at the end of the season.
Yep. Hey, real quick,
I believe that.
Let me bring in my man Nick. Nick, dude, what's going on, brother?
What up, Cody? Just heard the news, and man, I'm not upset about it.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's going on?
So, look, my thing this whole season, don't get me wrong, the defense cannot stop the run, okay? But we didn't know how bad our defense was really up until probably the Patriots game was when it really showed its face, at least in my opinion. Okay. So our defense has spent more time on the field than they ever should have because the play calling has not been what it should have been. The O-line has not performed the way that it should have. We've had constant rotation issues with the O-line, that sort of deal. And I don't necessarily know if the O-line issues fall back on Matt Rule or Joe Brady, but I know Joe Brady was not necessarily part of the solution. He hasn't been able to scheme up things the way that he should have. Players have not played the way that they should have. And something needed to change, something needed to happen. And I feel like with better play calling from our offensive coordinator, our defense would probably look better. Our defense would not be as run into the ground as it is right now.
But my thing is this. Would our play calling make the offensive line any better? Like, would our play calling make Christian McCaffrey all of a sudden not injury prone and healthy and ready to play? No. Like, and again, like I hear that. And I do not think Joe Brady proved himself to be a good play caller his time in Carolina.
He didn't, but the biggest thing that you have to remember, Cody, they were without Christian McCaffrey basically all of last season.
Yeah, and they're worse this year than they were last year.
Well,
which makes no sense.
Their entire game plan is predicated on getting the ball into Christian McCaffrey's hands. I mean, even the last game he played in, he still accumulated for 40% of the touches. I mean, if that's your game plan, then you're not a very good offensive coordinator. If your game plan is hinging on a running back being available to you.
And at least last year, you had Mike Davis, a veteran who knew how to work the system, who played in the system. And this offseason, we said, goodbye, we'll let you go to Atlanta, where he's actually still pretty much a backup down there.
But I think he did that one by choice. I didn't think that necessarily had to do with us willing to let him walk. I think it was just a lot of. I think he might have seen the writing on the wall, and he was like, "Screw this, I'm out."
Well, that matches with what a lot of your veteran players. I was reminded the other day that NFL veterans talk, and I know they do, but we right now we're having a lot of trouble bringing in veterans here. Okay, this off season we had veterans say no. I expect if Matt Rule's still the head coach and we don't have an improvement on the coaching staff, I believe that's going to be more to happen next year.
I agree.
I mean, we are a sinking ship, and nobody wants to go in there to go down with it. So this falls into Tepper has to realize this and make a change. If Matt Rule isn't fired, this boat's going to sink. It's going to go down, and Lord help us if it gets so low, we're going to be the Lions in next year.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight this. We might be the Lions now, Kenneth. I mean, real talk. We're not far off. I wanted to highlight this comment because I feel like it ties into the conversation. Deborah King says, of course, play calling was a problem. Robbie Anderson was complaining that defenses were reading their plays. And I remember that. I remember when Robbie was like complaining about that too.
Yep.
And then, we mentioned losing Christian McCaffrey, and we lost him last year. And we were better last year than we are this year without Christian McCaffrey.
We were better with Whitehead. Let that sink in.
And listen, so I'll say this. Well, one, let me do this. Add the Bat Daddy to the stream. Bat Daddy, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? I just got this glorious news. Sarah Taylor messaged me and told me about it. I wasn't even paying attention, and I was like, "Oh, as soon as I got in the chat to message y'all, I saw there was already a room open. I was like, hopping on that."
Bro, I'm not even like by my normal setup, so I'm just doing this impromptu. But dude, I'm happy that everyone's able to join us. But my thing is this 100% reeks of me of not only Matt Rule. How about this? Let me back up. Can we agree that two seemingly opposing things, can be true at the same time? So Joe Brady has proven to not be a very good play caller on the NFL level when given the reins. But it's also true that Joe Brady wasn't necessarily given the best playing cards when, one, the offensive line has been so badly mismanaged. Then the quarterback position has been so badly mismanaged. It's like, maybe Joe Brady wasn't that good of a play caller, but damn, dude, who is going to be better as a play caller with this talent the way it is? It's like, this is Joe Brady being the fall guy for all of the big-time faulty decisions that Matt Rule ultimately made.
I can agree with that because when Cam Newton came here, we commented about this. You actually saw a little bit more light in Joe Brady's eyes. Why? Because he has a veteran who knows what he's doing. Well, yeah, he has a playmaker at quarterback. Granted, an older playmaker, maybe who don't run like he used to, but nonetheless, he still has it. And he was never going to get that kind of shot under Matt Rule because Matt Rule prefers to get younger guys that are backups that don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, Brady got an unfair shake, but I still think he's going to come out on top in the end someday.
So, Bat Daddy, hold on real quick, because I know that Greg, for a long time, has almost been the voice of reason on our coaches. When we were all trying to be hopeful, we all called Greg the Debbie Downer because he was shitting on the coaches. But as time goes on, the Bat Daddy's takes on our coaches look more and more right on point than they ever have. So, Greg, was this the right move, or is there any truth to what I'm saying that this has a little bit of Matt Rule saving his own ass written all over?
It's 100% Matt Rule saving his own ass. And, I've never been a big Joe Brady fan, but I agree. He hasn't really had a fair shake. I think Matt Rule actually held him back. I think this was the wrong call. Not that I didn't want to get rid of Joe Brady. I would have gotten rid of Matt Rule first, personally. But I'm not making those decisions. I think that Joe Brady, he's going to end up just fine. He's Joe Brady. He's going to get a head coaching job in some college and be just fine, make plenty of money. I'm not worried about him at all. I just don't know where it goes from here because I feel like, while I don't think Joe Brady was a great offensive coordinator, I feel like the biggest problems were with the whole team, and it's Matt Rule. So are you just putting a Band-Aid on this problem, or are you actually trying to fix something? Because it looks like this is not going to change much at all. Because now
it's 100%
we don't have an offensive coordinator.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, we didn't have an offensive coordinator that could call plays before based on what we had. Now what are we going to do with this? And I get firing the head coach, you end up with the same problems. I just think it's time to sever ties with the entire coaching staff. And this is a situation where me being pessimistic about the coaching staff worked out in my favor. It generally doesn't tend to be great to be pessimistic on things, but this one actually worked out where it came to be true. These coaches are just not set for this level.
And I do want to reiterate what I said earlier for those folks who weren't in this chat when I said it. John Ellis, One Panther Plays, tweeted out about 48 minutes ago. One leak source tells me that they're not surprised about the Panthers severing ties with offensive coordinator Joe Brady, noting the seats are getting hot in that building.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
okay. And I asked this a few weeks ago. I think it was on our Tuesday show. Does David Tepper have too big of an ego to pull the plug this quick after year 2 on Matt Rule? Because I think that's something that, I know John Ellis is saying seats are hot, but I mean, for David Tepper to pull the plug after only 2 years of this, when the common meme around Matt Rule is that he's a third-year coach, third year, that's when his team is blow up and take off. If you fire him before that third year, you're admitting defeat, and you're admitting that all the decisions that you have made pretty much since you've been the owner of the football team have been terrible. And now you're having to redo it all over again. And then that signals to fans that now you're rebuilding. Now you're having to bring someone in. You're just telling everyone, hey, the Panthers are not close to being a contender right now. Mm-hmm. Does David Tepper even have that within him?
Well, the thing about Tepper is you got to remember he comes from hedge funds. Okay, so he's big in stock markets, and CK brings us up all the time, and it's the mindset of it. There's kind of a rule when you go into stocks is you don't invest anything you can't afford to lose, and 2, you don't invest anything that you wouldn't be in it for 10 years at least. That's kind of Warren Buffett. That's kind of his rules. If you're not going to invest it for 10 years, then don't invest in it at all. So I feel like he has a hard time cutting ties early because of that mindset, where he's already invested in this. And I've chased before in the stock market, and it sucks. But sometimes you got to cut your losses. Sometimes you make a wrong decision, you got to cut your losses. I don't know if that's holding him back or not, but I know that he has that mindset because he made all his money on hedge funds.
Yeah. I mean, and then you think about, Joe Brady. I used to call him the Wonder King. A Wonder King is like a young genius, and that's what he was billed as. That he was this young offensive mind that was gonna, be the next Sean McVay or something like that. And if you looked at LSU's championship football team, you had a right to think that, man, that was a historic team, a historic offense, put up incredible numbers. But again, man, now that mirage has faded from our vision, now we look back at that LSU team that had a bunch of first-round talents, at receiver, at offensive line, maybe not, first round talent on the O line, but they were one of the best offensive lines in football, one of the best quarterbacks in football. Now looking back at Joe Brady's resume, there really isn't much to it. He didn't really have a great resume before coming.
Well, yeah, look at the talent that surrounded him. I mean, you had a quarterback who right now, if I remember correctly, is one of the highest rated quarterbacks on PFF, right? You have 2 wide receivers who are fantastic in Jamar Chase and who's the other gentleman? So yeah, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall Jr. and
God, I can't remember the other guy's an NFL starter, right?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I believe the right tackle and left tackle are currently starters in the NFL too. I mean, and you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, those guys are all star players in the NFL at the NFL level. It's no surprise that they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to throw this out there for folks who don't know. December the 5th in 2019, Scott Turner takes over offensive coordinators for the Panthers. December the 5th in 2021, Jeff Nixon takes over responsibilities for the same job.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
Wow. How history repeats itself, man.
But one of them was because we fired Rivera then. But
yeah, and Norv Turner just he took a step back. Norv was only here to help Ron anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, but hey, man, time truly is a flat circle. I'm just so disappointed, and I've said this before, that all of the issues that so annoyed us with Ron Rivera is the same bullshit that we're dealing with now. Not playing young players when they need to be on the field, firing coaches to save your own ass because of your own inadequate decisions that have hurt the football team. I mean, all these things just over and over. It's like it's embarrassing.
I gotta ask you this, man. You know, we fired Ron Rivera. We got rid of our GM. We got rid of all of our coordinators. We brought in all new people. What is still the same where this shit is still happening? And that is Dave Tepper. And I know Matt Rule has come out and said, oh, yeah, you know, Dave Tepper just lets us do our own thing. He doesn't get involved in it. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's tape on it that shows otherwise.
Yeah.
And you know what? The fact that everything has changed and we still have the same issues that we've had over the last 4 years, okay, it falls back on the owner. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When you start changing everything and only one thing stays the same, then that becomes the problem.
Hey, Matt, were you able to join us?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
I keep hearing them talk about accountability, and I feel like this move, although I don't like Joe Brady, is just a scapegoat to put the blame on him.
Yes.
Because I did not believe that this patch job of a plan that they had coming into the season was going to work. And, like, we all knew that this was going to fall apart. I mean, we were all hopeful, but, like, we knew, like, this didn't look good. Like, Matt Rule has head coaching experience elsewhere as well as other positions. You know, the offensive line for the Giants for a year, I think, 2012. So, like, he knew coming in here that we needed to fix that offensive line, and he prioritized 3 picks before doing it. And one of them was because his wife said that he liked them. And he prioritized Chuba Hubbard over that offensive line. I'm not saying that J.C. Horn or TMJ were bad picks, but we knew that we could have had anybody on the board besides Sewell.
Yeah, and I think part of what is so annoying is that none of us can really pinpoint who made the decisions to pick what players. Even going back to when Marty Herney was here. Was this a Matt Rule draft or was this a Marty Herney pick? And now we're doing the kind of same thing where we're talking about, okay, David Tepper, says that he's not involved in everything, but like Nick said, has video evidence to prove otherwise. He is very much involved in the decision making. Then Matt Rule is in his second year here. And, he's the one that brings in Sam Darnold, him and Phil Snow. They decide to pass on Justin Fields. And then Scott Fitterer was only there for 1 year as GM. That was his first draft ever. So, I mean, what, are we going to say that in his first year, he made decisions over that of Matt Rule and David Tepper? Or is there equal enough blame to go around for all of these decisions? Either way, the name that none of us are saying tied to all these decisions is the dude who was fired today. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem here?
Well, And that's the kind of thing that people don't realize, right? I mean, if you look at when we hired Scott Fitterer, right, to kind of be on that topic, we hired Scott Fitterer from Seattle because they have an arrangement in Seattle where Pete Carroll basically makes that all the roster decisions. He decides who's on that team. He decides who they draft. He decides what they trade and who they do it for. He runs that roster completely, right? It's Dan Schneider's job to kind of tell him, like, if Pete Carroll says, well, I want a really good cornerback. Well, Dan Schneider goes, well, here's who we have graded as the best cornerback that might be in range when we are on the board, right? It's his job to say, okay, well, if you want this position, here's who I think you should go get. And here's the reasons why, right? They wanted to basically mirror that same kind of operation to business, so to speak, in Carolina, where Matt Rule says, these are the position groups that I want to focus on. And Scott Fitterer would be the guy who would go, okay, well, here's who I would go get to address those positions, right? And that, if you look at Seattle this year, that hasn't worked out, not well, right? We're trying to do the same exact thing, I'm telling you right now, like, you know, for as much as we want to blame Rule for all the personnel decisions, Scott Fitterer should have been the voice of reason. I mean, he absolutely should have been for some of the choices that we made this offseason and some of the decisions we made in that draft. So as everybody wants to give him a pass and say, you know, like that, you know, he should get a chance to pick his own coach if Matt Rule does get fired and whatnot. I mean, this man had equal blame, as far as I'm concerned, in the decisions that were made regarding this roster and specifically regarding the offensive line.
Yeah, and then it's also like I hear you, and yes, he should have had that, you know, the wherewithal to say something, especially if he disagreed, if you're being hired to be the GM. But it's also like, dude, good luck telling David Tepper what to do and his chosen anointed head coach, Matt Rule, that he dished out a 7-year contract to. So, I mean, even if Fitterer was like, you know, Justin Fields is sitting right there for us, and he looks to be pretty good. I mean, if the coaching portion of our team has their mind set on, nope, Sam Darnold's the guy, we're going to be able to show what kind of coaches we are. After Sam Darnold has success, we're going to build other parts of the football team. Like, poor Scott Fitterer to even dare to defy the billionaire and his golden child.
So, I mean, Cody, what would you do next now? Now that we have lost Joe Brady, you know, what would you do next? Because I know what I would personally do, but I'd like to hear what you would do.
Well, listen, I feel like we're all kind of done with this coaching staff. So, yeah, I feel like I would want to fire our head coach.
If we fire Matt Rule, I know this obviously Bieniemy and McDaniels are names about getting thrown around a lot. How do you feel about Doug Peterson?
It's like, man, I'm torn on that because on one hand, the man won a Super Bowl, so I'm not going to take that away from him. But then on the other hand, I also saw how that team imploded under his watch as well. So I don't know. You know, that kind of gives me hesitation as well. I'm not, you know, John Gruden has the Super Bowl championship. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I don't, that's not a name that really inspires me, but, you know, I don't know.
Are we talking about head coach or offense coordinator here?
I would say head coach.
My question was just in general, but
okay. Can I throw a name out there that I think is going to be a hot name at the end of this year? That I think if we were looking for a head coach and or offensive coordinator, even though I think he's not going to get an offensive coordinator position.
Pete Carroll?
No.
Sure.
Kellen Moore.
Ooh.
I think this guy's very creative. He's shown with the right tools, he can really have some offensive stuff that looks really, really good. Very unique. I think this guy's going to get a head coaching job, and I wouldn't mind us taking a look at him for looking for a head coach. To be honest,
go ahead.
I think he's going to get a head coaching job, but I also think that, like, he didn't look too great last year when he didn't have Dak Prescott, right?
True.
I mean,
well, yeah, when you have a third string, no-name quarterback, nobody's going to look great, I don't think. You know?
Sure. But
it's almost like it's almost like we just fired our offensive coordinator when he had nothing to help him at quarterback position.
I would rather have, to be honest, somebody with experience, and maybe I'd rather have somebody with some fire and experience. But
Okay.
I understand. I also know that Mike Zimmer, while a lot of people talk offensive guys, I read an article this morning, that it's kind of well known in that building that the owner of the Vikings pretty much told Mike Zimmer it's playoffs or bust. And further a little bit investigation, several the folks in that building stated that the owner met the GM and the head coach, that the Vikings don't make the playoffs, they're pretty much going to scrap everything and start over. So that's a couple names of that organization we could look at. But
I know that's true because we had Vikings fans in our chat here telling us that they wanted us to win because they wanted Zimmer fired.
That is true.
That makes sense.
The players though in the Vikings, like, they definitely have the personnel to elevate, and take it to the next level. It's just their coaching's been a problem, from what I'm told.
We know how that is.
We literally know how that is.
I guess my question for the group is, let's just say we do fire Matt Rule, right? When we fired Ron Rivera, Tepper said, okay, well, I want to go out and I want to get an offensive-minded head coach. And in year 2, Matt Rule came out and said, well, we're going to be a defensive team and we're going to win with a solid run game, which was basically the carbon copy Ron Rivera plan, right?
Yeah.
That's what Ron Rivera wanted to do.
Right.
So I guess my question is, what confidence do we have that David Tepper is even going to hire the right guy?
I don't know. One thing, I tried to look this up myself because I remember it happening. I was watching. I do a lot watching on my phone at work, and I remember Tepper telling reporters that that when he went to Matt Rule, that or when they hired Brady, he went after Brady because he was the best name in the business at the time, and the fact is that he didn't get the offensive coach he wanted, so he was going to get an excellent coordinator. I think David Tepper just got, so to speak, suckered into the speech Matt Rule gave. But nonetheless, I would hope that David Tepper has a little bit takes a little bit time and doesn't jump the gun like he did before. I still worry about the offensive coordinator McDaniels for the Patriots. Tepper loved him last time. He may be the guy next time.
Well, so basically what you're saying is that a snake oil salesman sold David Tepper some snake oil, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take some of that snake oil."
Yep, sure did.
No, David, that's a great question though. Like, what faith do we have in David Tepper to make the right decision, especially when you consider some of the guys that he could have had? I mean, he could have had Brandon Staley from the Chargers. Look, but whatever you think about the Chargers, I dare you to listen to one press conference from the Chargers head coach and tell me that you wouldn't want that dude to be coaching the Panthers. Okay, that dude is a stud. All right, then needless to say, you could have had Eric Bieniemy, who I've been a fan of for a long time. I know many of us have. There were other people out there. And the fact of the matter is that David Tepper told us who he was. He said directly that the reason why he didn't fire Ron Rivera and Marty Herney right away is because he wanted to understand the things that he didn't know about football. And he wanted football people in the organization to make up for all the things that he didn't know.
Looked at the wrong kind of football people, though. College football is definitely a different ballpark than
100%. And now
he's paying for it. He's paying for it.
Yeah, and to your point, now that we already know our owner doesn't know a lot about football, even though he comes from Pittsburgh. And then you go, and then to your point, Matt, you hire a bunch of college coaches to come in and rebuild your NFL franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, how dumb do you have to be to be a fucking billionaire nowadays, dude? Like, come on, that makes zero sense in the world, and yet here we are.
The dude
So,
puts
I don't
ketchup
know.
on his steak, so he's obviously not too bright.
Yeah.
Does he really? Did he actually say that?
It wasn't just penny steak; it was a $130 one. Nice fat piece of meat. Just ketchup and wanted it well done.
So I mean, Cody, look, you know what? If it was me and I was Dave Temper, my next move would be to call up Eric Bieniemy and just talk to him, be like, hey, look, you know, are you interested in leaving the Chiefs next year? What's your plan? What are you looking to do long term? What are your goals? That sort of deal. If his goal is to be a head coach at some point, I would ask him if he'd be willing to come on as an offensive coordinator for right now, and then pull Matt Rule in and be like, hey, just to let you know, we hired this guy to be your replacement if you do not pan out. So either step up or step out. And quite honestly, that is how I would go. And what I would do too is if Eric Bieniemy is wanting to take the job under those preconceived notions, I would also pull Scott Fitterer in and be like, look, okay, you guys need to work together. You guys have 2 years to get a winning record of some sort, or be competitors. Okay, our biggest issue this past year is the fact that we have not been competitive in every single game. We've had blowouts that never should have been blowouts. That's where our issue lie, and that's why we're so low on the team right now. Okay, so you tell those guys that, hey, you have 2 to 3 years to have a winning record to be on the right path. You guys don't pan out, you're all gone, and I'm doing this the right way the third time. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, asking someone to wait at the offensive coordinator position, you know, while you figure out the head coach, like most guys wouldn't go to a situation like that. But also, like, if you have that much doubt about your head coach, then dude, yeah, rip the Band-Aid off, dude. That's it. Dude, long-time fans of the C3 podcast remember when I said the same shit about Ron Rivera. You're delaying the inevitable. Rip the Band-Aid off, fire the man now, and get started on a process of rebuilding this football team the right way. And yet here we are again.
And Cody, you know what? I'm right there with you on that, and I completely agree that we should have ripped the Band-Aid off a lot sooner with Ron Rivera. But the problem is Dave Tepper has come out and said that he understand, I forget how he worded it, but he wasn't expecting an instant turnaround. And last year with COVID, there was no off season. He brought in new coaches that didn't have the right time to prepare the way that they should have. So in reality, this is kind of their first, I'll call it almost their second year at this point. Okay? Because now that they've actually had an off season, now they've actually been able to prepare, that sort of deal. So if you go out there and you fire him before even his second year is up, or at the end of his second year, you're showing that you aren't going to be patient and build the franchise that you said you were going to build. You're going to put everybody on the hot seat, and you expect something along the lines of what the Cardinals did. And let's face it, the Cardinals just kind of got lucky.
Well, and you know, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, if we're gonna do it, like, next year is the perfect year to tank, because the 2023 draft is when Bryce Young comes out. I mean, if you're looking for a replacement for Cam Newton, I don't know if you guys watched the Alabama-Georgia game last night, but Bryce Young is amazing. I mean,
yeah, I've been following Bryce,
but then you're planning on then crapping out the rest of this season, which we're gonna do, and then intentionally tanking all next season. Man, it's gonna be a rough year of podcasting. I'll tell you.
Yeah, you see how many teams are gonna look so much better this year? I mean, the Eagles have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
they are going to spend that or trade.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we trade, let's just say we trade DJ Moore and we tag and trade Hassan Reddick, and we can get high second-round picks for both of those, or a first-round pick for one of those. We can probably get a first-round pick if we tag and trade Hassan Reddick, right? I mean, we could very easily fix our offensive line or at least get very young on our offensive line within the next offseason and still not be very competitive and still potentially be in play for that first overall pick next year.
Yeah. And then you're trading away pieces, probably pieces of your defense too. Like goodbye to all that sack production if you trade Hassan Reddick away. And by the way, I want to give Kenneth a little credit on this. They might be drooling over Kenny Pickett already. So
yeah, I believe that if Matt Rule stays here, I believe he's gonna if he's still in charge of the draft, unless Tepper interferes, I believe you will draft him first pick if he's available.
Also,
we may not like it, but I believe we're going to do that. Matt Rule has loved Kenny Pickett way back when Kenny Pickett come out of high school.
But hey, real quick, I wanted to reply to something that Nick said at the very end. Nick, you said that the Cardinals got lucky, and in my mind, I kind of look at it as the Cardinals. They're the examples of what you should do, because they hired a brand new head coach, then drafted a quarterback in the first round, and then the very next year they were willing to admit that they messed up and basically fixed both of those positions. So, they moved on from Josh Rosen. They moved on from, what was the guy that we sent over there?
Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. And then they were able to reset, and now they're, at the top of the NFC.
So how often does that happen where you get rid of everybody basically as soon as you hire them?
But true.
Then all of a sudden everything just is fixed.
Right, but that's why I'm saying that you kind of have to commend them. Not many teams do it, and the fact that they did and are now successful, they deserve a little bit of credit for how they handled that situation.
Well, and Cliff Kingsbury was smart enough not to bring his college staff with him, right? He went and got legitimate NFL offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators.
Truth.
But
hey, Cody, I gotta bounce out, so I'll hit you guys up later on in the week. All right?
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Glad you can jump on, man.
Definitely keep pounding, guys.
Yep, keep pounding,
buddy. When we talk about trading a player, let's remember too, we have a value on our players that the other teams may not. The other teams may not be willing to give a bunch of picks for Riddick, or they may say, you say, okay, we'll trade Brian Burns. They may say, well, Burns had a nice sophomore year, but his rookie year he didn't. He for whatever reason he didn't play so great, and this year he hasn't played so great. We don't know that we want to give you what you want for Burns. So there's a method there that we have to take a step back. Burns, though, at least he kind of fits in a 4-3 and a 3-4, which I'm not certain Riddick could be an every down 4-3 linebacker or 4-3 or a 4-3 linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so certain that Brian Burns is a full-time 4-3 edge either. So.
Yeah, exactly. So so you're kind of treading water there. I'm really scared to give Burns another contract right now.
Real quick, I don't know who it is, but someone's got some background noise coming through. So mute your microphone when you're not speaking. But Greg, I know Greg has to get out of here, man. I appreciate you jumping on impromptu like this, man. Yeah. What are your final thoughts on Joe Brady before we get out of here?
I think this is, although I think it was the wrong move, the person they fired, I think Brady should have been fired. So this is probably the best week in Panthers football we've had in a while, and it's our bye week. So we're not going to lose this week, and we got rid of something I think we should have.
Before you go, do you think Matt Rule is our coach starting next year?
I believe it truly goes on how the season plays out. To be honest with you, I think if we are a stinker and we lose out the rest of the year or win one more game, and
how do you think it plays out?
I think it plays out. Lose. Yeah, okay. So based on that, I think that he won't be our coach next year because I think we're probably going to lose out every game. To be truly honest with you.
Yep.
I don't see us winning.
Yeah,
maybe Atlanta.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. Yeah. I hate that too, dude. It's another season where all of our hopes were gotten sky high. Then they fell to an all-time low. Then Cam Newton comes back, and now, we're back. The Panthers are going to the Super Bowl. And then, then they just do it to us again, man. So it's like we've had to come crashing back to the earth 2 times this season. That's hard to do, man.
We are the cryptocurrency of football, man. That's what the Carolina are. So,
dude,
that's so volatile.
Sell the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna credit John Ellis on Twitter, and he says, since December the 2019, the Panthers have fired Rivera, Masco, and Turner, retained Hurney, hired Rule at $7.5 million a year, hired Joe Brady as OC, signed Bridgewater, cut Cam, extend CMC, lost 11 games, fired Hurney, hired Fitter, signed Irving and Elflin on the first day of free agency, traded for Darnold, passed on Jones and Fields, picked up Sam's 5th-year option, benched an injured Sam, signed Cam, run all over by Rivera, Masco, and Turner, and fired Joe Brady.
You can't make that stuff up, man. It sounds like a Mad Libs for NFL.
Carolina. Hey, man, we might really have to have a conversation about, are the Panthers in the same tier as like the Browns and the Lions and these teams that you only think of as like
we are.
We've also had We've also had 5 quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
Yes.
God, just
going for a record, y'all. Going for a record.
Well, Greg, I appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll keep pounding until I see you Tuesday night, bro.
Keep pounding, man. Later, y'all.
Peace and love.
Amen.
Yeah. Once again, anybody that's in the chat room that wants to join in and give your opinion, the link to join is in the description box down below on the YouTube video, also on the Facebook video. Man, go ahead.
We mentioned about the Vikings a while ago. They are actually, the Lions are up 20-6 over the Vikings at halftime.
Yeah, I've got Red Zone up. I'm trying to keep track. Apparently Tom Brady has thrown a bunch of interceptions today too, and like the Falcons are competitive. It's crazy, man. I'm watching the shootout between.
I kind of agree though. If we stink up the rest of this season, which I believe I said it after the last game, and I'll say it now. I don't believe we'll win another game. Unless it's at the end of the year when the Bucs have everything wiped up and took care of, and we're playing their backups, and I'm not certain we can beat their backups. So, but if we don't win another game, I think Tepper is pretty much forced to fire Rule. I really do.
Yep. Hey, real quick, let me add my man Rock to the stream. Rock, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Chilling, man. Give me your thoughts. Joe Brady is no more.
Man, I'm excited. I'm happy.
Was it? Yeah. Did this need to happen, or was Joe Brady just a fall guy for Matt Rule's ineptitude?
It needed to happen, bro. Let me go in my room so I can get some more light. It needed to happen. I've been wanting this to happen, bro. I was like, man, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, yes. Yeah, man.
So do you think that Joe Brady has been holding back this offense?
I do. I feel like he's. I don't know, man. I feel like he's like a kindergartner calling plays, man. Football plays.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, he hasn't been impressive, man. He hasn't been. I mean, the only thing I'll say to that is what I've been saying to that, man. Like, look at the quarterbacks that the Panthers have been through. Look at the drops that we had. Look at the overthrows that we had. Look at the mistimed balls that have been thrown. But also, and again, I know I sound like a broken record, but like, look how badly this offensive line has been mismanaged.
Correct.
I mean, it's been terrible when there's no protection and your quarterback, and you can't depend on him from a dirty pocket. It's like, man, to me, this just spells like Joe Brady is the fall guy.
So I guess my question now would be, who do we elevate to be the OC? Who do we get?
But now it's hold on. His name is Jeff Nixon. And hold up real quick, man. One, Jeff Nixon is the new offensive coordinator. But hey, man, let me ask some people to the stream right quick. One is a legend of the C3 fan community. My dog Nova Black. Nova, what's up, bro?
What's up? What's up, Cody, man? What's up, C3? How y'all doing?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. Happy to have you on, man. Also, real quick, shout out to the homie Twan. Twan, what's going on, bro?
What's good, boss?
Chilling, man. Happy y'all can join us. Let's go to Nova. Nova, man, what you thinking about this? Did the Panthers do the wrong thing, or was it time for Joe Brady to hit the road, bro?
First of all, I'm blowed, right? It's right in the middle of the season. This is unheard of. Most teams will wait to the end of the season. You know, when stuff like this happens, it's just real bad. So I'm going to say, honestly, overall, I think Joe Brady's the fall guy, but he's been atrocious, man. His play calling, without Christian McCaffrey, it's like which way do we go? Now, if you go back and look, when we even had Mike Shula, man, and we had Fozzie Whitaker and all these guys, okay, in the backfield. When Stu was down, you didn't see the play calling change up too much. It wasn't too drastic. You couldn't tell that there was a fall off because Fozzie Whitaker, who wasn't as much of a bruiser as Stu, you know, he was more of a poor man's CMC, you could say. Poor man's Alvin Kamara. But
Fozzie was underrated.
The play calling has a huge significant drop off. The route concepts are basically first time Madden player-ish. You got defensive backs running the routes for our wide receivers, and take a look at this. He can't seem to get these guys open unless he's getting the linebackers to drop right there on the ass of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Because if they drop in the coverage, they don't have to drop very deep because all of his crossing routes are right there on the back sides of the defensive tackles. So guess what? Our wide receivers are getting their head knocked off time after time.
Yeah, that's why DJ is afraid to catch the ball across the middle.
Right.
So that's why DJ be dropping them slants.
Yeah,
right.
They're making what they call business decisions, and you can't blame him on that one.
Right.
I'm glad. Joe Brady is a good call, but not right now, and that's just Matt Rule trying to say.
Why wait though? Why wait to the end of the season? Get him out of there, man. Get him out of there.
Listen,
so we can start learning the new system.
Because where we are right now with them little bit of draft picks and stuff we got right now, they might as well strategically tank, my man. Trying to win out the back end. We don't have any.
What we tanking for?
But we don't have any bad picks.
We don't have no picks. Why are we tanking?
And bro, everybody got
what we can with
and
what
everybody, everybody got so upset at me last year when I was saying that we needed to tank for the quarterback, bro. Last year was the year to do it, and here we are once again, a day late, dollar short, talking about tanking. Like I agree with my man Rocks. Like, what you tanking for? Like,
if
who's anybody
that's true.
If anybody think that the Panthers are tanking this year, you have to be out your mind. This is $1 million company.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I just don't see the logic in trying.
I mean, it's not the right time.
I've said it so many times. We are stuck in purgatory. It's the same thing every year.
That's why I'm saying if they're competent.
But saying that, aren't we undefeated in our division right now still?
We are.
Yeah,
we are.
That is true.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, like you have to look at what does the future hold for us, or what does the future look like for us? We only have $29 million in cap space next year. We only have 5 picks in total in the draft. I mean, and we have some glaring issues at offensive line, linebacker depth, and free safety.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we
got a lot of cap money tied up in the quarterbacks. We're still paying Cody. We're still paying Sam. We're paying
quarterbacks and that man Robbie Anderson.
You
Ron
guys
Rivers
know
will
what I
cost me
think?
$16 million
I
next year.
think that the signing of Cam Newton exposed Joe Brady as a play caller. Period.
I'm about to be with Cam.
I'm going to read you something real quick.
Cam been in the NFL longer than Joe Brady, and Matt Rule. He probably has better football IQ and knowledge than Joe Brady. And you sitting here with these play calls, now you got the quarterback complaining about probably the same thing that's been being complained about behind the scenes. It's a possibility.
This is a quick paragraph off Pro Football Talk where they're talking about Panthers firing Brady. It says Brady arrived with much fanfare, hired as part of Rule's original staff, but the Panthers have struggled offensively, staying ahead of opposing defenses or its own tendency, and it tells. Also possible, if not likely, that Brady didn't click with Cam Newton. Those return to the team has created excitement and ticket sales, but the two disappointing losses after an upset of the Cardinals last week, Newton performed poorly against the Dolphins. So Mike Froyo is going to blame firing Joe Brady on Cam Newton.
But again, but even then, you're putting Joe Brady in a tough spot, and you're putting Cam Newton in a tough spot.
Right.
Like they're supposed to get on the same page in the middle of the season and make the Carolina Panthers a contender. Like once
with
again,
no offensive line.
Yeah, with no offensive line. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm telling y'all, Cam Newton is snake bitten.
Right.
Cam Newton has the worst luck in this fucking world, y'all. The same thing that happened to him with the Patriots last year is the same shit that's happening to him this year. No OTAs, no ability to gel. Now the offensive line is trash. The players around you aren't playing good. And now the entire NFL media wants to blame, Cam Newton's never been accurate.
No, it's the morale, bro. Not to cut you off, Cody, but it's the morale. Like the players are like, we have the talent. Like the morale is down though because nobody's wanting to put it out on the line because they don't believe in the coaches.
PJ was thrown in the fourth quarter and he was sacked over and over in just a small amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, let me get the homie Twan in on this, bro. Tell me what you think about this, man.
Man, you cannot blow a situation up because it doesn't work. Once you blow a situation, I mean, like my man, I don't know. I think somebody said earlier the Arizona Cardinals did it the right way.
Yeah,
like they had to blow it up.
Yeah,
start over again, find a new coach. There's a lot of things that shouldn't have been blown up, but I'm not gonna put the blame on just Brady. It starts at the ownership level. We don't know anything about it. We do not know anything about Tepper as far as being a football owner. We know he's a businessman. He makes a lot of money. He can sell tickets. So right now, think about that. Matt Rule, I love him coming out of bed. I loved him when we signed him. He's still getting acclimated to the NFL, and he has a 7-year deal last time I checked. So I don't think he's worried about his job either right now. But
well, I mean, it makes me wonder. Like, I don't think Joe Brady was worried about his job.
My biggest thing is it's not over until it's over. This season is not done, and we are undefeated in the NFC South.
Right.
If we win all of our games in the NFC South and maybe knock off Buffalo, go undefeated, what can you say then?
I bet. Look, let me ask you this then. Let me pivot the conversation this way. What are the chances of Carolina's offense looking better now that Joe Brady is done for?
Nixon is the coming in.
Who's the play caller?
50-50.
So we got this dude Nixon. Apparently he was the OC at Baylor when Matt Rule was there. So, bro, we literally got the Baylor team made over, y'all. If you have ever coached or played for Temple or Baylor, bro, this is your fucking spot. Come right over, bro. We need you over.
Yeah, he's been our running backs coach all year, so he's familiar with the players and stuff.
Hey, we'll see, man. We're gonna see. We're about to find out.
I need Cam to show up. I need Cam to show up so I can go to the cigar shop after we beat Atlanta.
Yeah,
after we beat Atlanta.
It's something, man. It's something, but it's like.
But look, man. Even still, he might be an upgrade from Joe Brady, man.
He might be, but I still. But this move right here is getting your boy Rule out the door next year. He ain't coming back next year.
So even, and I'll reiterate what I said earlier, though, right? You've got 1 week now to learn a new playbook if they're going to redo it. They're not learning a new playbook. They're going to have the same playbook.
Right.
I mean, anybody that thinks this is anything but an ornamental firing is kidding themselves, at least right now. It's going to take a few weeks before they get a new playbook in place.
How much of this has to do with them coaching jobs coming open also?
I don't know. Do y'all remember earlier in the year, I talked about it on the podcast. They asked Joe Brady about LSU, and even Joe Brady's answer at the time, I clowned him for, because he was like, "Nah," it's like, "Yeah, I don't think about stuff like that until the end of the season." Like, bro, you're already signaling that you don't have intentions to be here very long, bro.
Right.
Like,
I'm glad he gone,
come
bro.
on, man. Yeah.
You guys remember what Tony was saying about get the job, make the money, then go back to your old job?
Yeah, man. Hey, man, shout out Professor. He might have called it, man. God. Dang, man. But no, you're right, though. To me, this just smells like Matt Rule trying to save his own ass, because everyone around him is upset about how this team is underperforming, losing badly to teams that we all checked off as a W before this season even started. It's like, dude, that's unacceptable, man.
Crazy, man. We took some L's, man.
Too many, bro. I mean, we lost to every NFC East team.
Every NFC East. And that's why I'm rooting against them this weekend.
Bro,
because we're still in it. We're still in it for a playoff spot.
Bro,
but look,
that is horrible.
Or does it seem like the team doesn't play that well at home?
They don't. We're one of the worst home teams in the NFL. We're one of the worst home teams in the NFL.
Well, let me ask a question then. Can I ask a question? What is the difference between the 3-0 start and then the rest of the year? What happened?
Yeah. They figured us out, man.
No, ain't nothing going on but college bull crap on the NFL field. That's all.
Well, hold on.
They figured us out.
But we all know the major thing that happened. Christian McCaffrey goes away and the whole offense goes away. You take Christian McCaffrey out of this equation, now you have no identity. You have no identity because all you are is the Christian McCaffrey show. Bro, who was that Panther that was like, no, we're not the Carolina Christian McCaffrey? Like, bro, yes, the hell we are.
Yeah,
yes, the hell we are, man. And maybe that's why
that was Hassan Reddick, right?
But look, we didn't even look good with him in the game.
No,
he was in the game. He was in the game against Miami. We still got our asses whooped.
Yeah, I mean, he was, but then even still, he got hurt. His yards after contact is still.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt all of a sudden once we was like down by 20 points.
I know, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. And he finished. Didn't he finish the game? Am I wrong?
I think he did, bro.
No, he didn't.
I think he was faking.
He was out after halftime. He came out in the boot.
This sort of happens when you build your
ain't no wrong with C, man.
Around one player.
Right.
You know, Ron Rivera said it this week when he was talked about it. He said he will never build a team around one player like he did in Carolina. But that's all he said. Didn't make no names. We all know he built the offense around Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And when they failed to make good selections at the offensive line and Cam gets hurt, you're crippled.
We haven't had a good time.
We're building an offense around a running back who gets hurt all the time. And
did you say he built the offense around Cam Newton?
That's what he reiterated.
Bro,
he
Cam
said he won't never build the offense around one person. Who
Cam
else was
never
he
had
talking
offense
about?
ever.
I mean, he can't be talking about he built it around Jonathan Stewart. You know.
Man. Cam never had offense. This man went to the Super Bowl with fucking Ted Ginn, Jericho Cotchery, and who else? Who was the other guy? Oh,
my boy that got to my I can't think it's coming to my name.
But Punches. The one that made that catch in the Super Bowl.
Never Punches.
Hey, Cam Newton, he drug a
like
bunch
these
of
guys wouldn't even start on another team.
Cam Newton brought a janitorial crew playing wide receiver to the Super Bowl.
And went to the Super Bowl, bro.
Hey man,
it wasn't for Greg Olson though, too. Now.
Well, yeah.
Cam had the
defense is
connection
what
there.
took them to a Super Bowl.
It was the Cam and Olsen show.
Them two had a connection. I don't think a quarterback and a tight end will ever have again.
That defense took them to the Super Bowl.
Well, when Cam Newton, the best weapon / receiver that Cam Newton ever played with was a tight end. I mean, he made Greg Olson 3 years of 1,000 receiving yards, man. The first tight end to ever do that.
Hey, and then Greg Olson slow as the old Volkswagen, man.
Yeah, bro.
He just got finesse, man.
He
got finesse. And his hands got sticky glue to him.
Yeah, that's Old Faithful, man. That's Old
Hey,
Faithful.
boys, I'm out. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
No problem, man. I'll be listening to y'all.
Yeah,
All right,
later
bro.
tomorrow.
Peace.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Yeah,
Peace,
man.
peace.
Dude, it's like, yeah, I mean, seeing how we did Cam Newton and the fact that we brought him back, like, honestly, real shit, before we brought back Cam Newton, this is one of the reasons I didn't want Cam Newton to come back. Like, why come back to this? Look where we are now. And now Cam Newton's having to do the same shit. And you know that if the Panthers play bad the rest of this year, no matter what, Cam Newton's the lightning rod. He's going to take the majority of the blame for all this shit. Having to come in, like, play under different play callers. You have no Christian McCaffrey anymore like you thought that you did when you signed. Now Dante Jackson's on IR. Oh, by the way, Frankie Louvu is on the COVID list. Like, dude, I'm telling you, man, Cam Newton is one of the most snake-bitten quarterbacks I think to ever play, man.
I think Cam is going to keep these guys in the game down the stretch. And I believe that's the only reason they're going to play is for Cam. Because I don't think Matt Rule got that team. I think he's lost the team at this point.
Yeah.
And the pro players who've been in for a while can see that.
I've got a bit of a hot take. And this goes to both players and coaching personnel. Or not players, fans and coaching personnel when it comes to certain all-star or, pro caliber players, guys like McCaffrey, Steve Smith, Jordan Gross, Kuechly. We write on their success as a player so much that they're expected to carry the weight around them. And of course, sometimes they definitely can. But like the minute they get hurt, people start figuring this out. And that happens every year. I mean, McCaffrey got hurt. It's like, oh yeah, they have little to no run game, in past years, and it's going to be like a continuous cycle of not just building around one player, because we're so heavily reliant on McCaffrey to carry that offense. We could say that Moore's good. We could say that Robbie Anderson has had his moments, but we know the number one player in that offense, that number one weapon is McCaffrey.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But by the way, that's also why you don't pay Christian McCaffrey that kind of contract.
Yeah.
Just because it's purely discriminatory, man. I'm purely discriminating based on the fact that he is a running back. He is a running back. You can copy and paste any running back into this conversation, and my opinion remains the same. I'm not paying Derrick Henry big bank. I'm not paying Kamara big bank. I'm not paying Nick Chubb big bank. I mean, pick one. Pick one. I'm not playing and paying running backs who are a dime a dozen in the draft, and they get hurt so often. And you're going to make them the centerpiece of your offense. That's not good football decision.
Other teams plan that out ahead of time.
Yeah, but you got every now and then you get a guy that comes on like Adrian Peterson.
It doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, that's the thing that people don't understand is like if McCaffrey is not a wide receiver, you don't pay that. You just don't pay a running back. I mean, and we've seen this time and time again, right? I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, that looks like a bad contract. Tony Pollard's been better this year. You look at who is the guy for the Rams that they released?
I forget his name. I have to look it up.
Todd Gurley.
Gurley, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You look at Gurley. You look at
but Gurley came out of college hurt, man.
But still, I mean, they paid him that big money, and then they released him 2 years into his extension. You know, I mean, they had to eat. I think they had to eat like $40 million dead cap.
Hey, look at Ezekiel Elliott right now over in Dallas, man. Even with that team being good, he's like a shell of his former self.
Tony Pollard's looking excellent.
Yeah.
Look at where is the Steelers guy?
Le'Veon Bell,
yeah.
No more. He ain't even playing no more. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Last seen with the Jets and never again.
Bro, remember he held out for that contract too? He was like, "Nah, you got to pay me, bro."
Right. I mean, that's just
Pittsburgh was on to something.
You don't pay running backs. I mean, that's just not the right decision. At least you don't pay them big money anyway, right? Pay them like $8 million a season, then great. But you're paying, we're paying Christian McCaffrey. People don't realize we're paying Christian McCaffrey $16 million next season. We're paying Robbie Anderson $16 million next season too.
Damn,
I mean,
yeah.
We're going to be $32 million in the
Hey, somebody, yeah. All right, I got it.
So
that's the kind of music that is taken off of YouTube.
We are really, I mean, we are cap poor next year as it sits right now.
I thought Robbie's contract was like 25 mil. Like
it's 25 mil. It was a $25 million extension spread out over two additional seasons. So he's a $16 million cap hit next year. He's a $9 million cap hit the year after.
Aren't we still paying Kuechly?
Yeah, we
paying
are
him this year. Yeah,
wow.
This year's.
Bro, there was someone. I thought there was someone else too. That
Teddy Bridgewater.
No, wasn't it K1 Short? There was someone else.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't think that we would still be paying, and we are.
But Robbie's contract is also trade friendly. So if we can talk somebody into trading for him, like if we trade him next year, we'll clear $13 million on cap, and the dead cap's only $3 million. So, but if year after that, it's better. So Robbie's contract is what I want to call tradable. It's easy to trade him if you find a partner.
I would want to trade him.
That's the most drops in the NFL right now. Nobody's trading for him.
Yeah, but at the same time, DJ Moore. If you're DJ Moore and the GM walk up to you and say, "Hey, you want to resign?" Why would you say yes?
Well, I don't think he's going to. I think he's gonna. I'm gonna be real with you. Like if we fire Rule, they're not going to keep DJ Moore. DJ Moore will be a player who was drafted in the last two regimes. Right?
They could.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't think DJ Moore. I don't think whether Rule's here or not. I think that this is DJ Moore's last season in a Panthers jersey. I really do.
And you know what though? Even if I'm DJ Moore, I don't think I want to be a Panther next year.
But you know what though? I feel like even if DJ leaves, I feel like we'll be all right because we have a lot of young talent at wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, and like I mean he's done a lot, but he hasn't done much. It's like I don't know. I'm like I'm like kind of like threading the line with DJ. Like he's done a lot, but at the same time, it's like, man, when we need him to come through, he don't come through.
Yeah, man, dropping passes. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that number one receiver mentality, man. Like
he don't have that dog in him, man. A dog.
No, bro, you look at somebody like one of my favorite wide receivers in the game is Stephon Diggs, and when you look at the way he just cooks opposing receivers, man, like he's so precise and almost damn near violent the way he runs routes, man. Like, dude, Steve Smith had that same kind of thing. That same kind of thing, man. And it's like DJ don't have that same kind of dog in him. But going back to what I was saying, if I'm DJ Moore, look, so much of the receiver position is dependent upon who's playing quarterback, who you got throwing you the football. And if you're DJ Moore, you're looking at the Panthers, bro, since I've been drafted, y'all can't figure out the quarterback position. So even if they did throw a bag at him, like, why would you want to stay here, man? Like, you can go somewhere else to a team that has an entrenched franchise quarterback. Like, imagine DJ Moore with the Ravens, bro. Like, that might be perfect for them, and you might want to go there. But if I'm DJ Moore, I don't know if I want to come back to Carolina.
I wouldn't. I would ask for it if it's nothing. It's nothing. I think DJ's all right, but he don't have what you said. He don't have that dog in him, And even too, remember the days of Steve Smith walking up, a play didn't work out, throwing his arms up there, squalling at Jake Delhomme. Why didn't you throw him? Your eyes open. Steve might have had 3 people on him, and Steve still say he was open. DJ don't do that. DJ don't do that at all.
Yeah, DJ bipolar, man. Something wrong with DJ, man. Like, not making fun of anybody that have mental health issues, but I think something wrong with DJ, man, for real. Something wrong with that.
I don't think he loves football.
I think he's losing a lot of his morale. But somebody on Twitter called him a diet DK Metcalf, and I was like,
you think you feel like football?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he loves it. He might like it.
Yeah, I don't think he loves it either.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have the passion for football. Like, there are some dudes, man, like a Jamal Adams type player. Whatever you think of Jamal Adams, that dude's coming to break your face every play, man.
Right.
And it's like there's a mentality that you have to have playing football. And I don't think that that DJ has that kind of talent. And look, like we bust the balls of like a Dante Jackson a bunch whenever he gets burned, but at least he has a dog in him. Like, he has that fighter's mentality that you do want at the cornerback position. So I'll give him credit with that. But DJ, no, I don't see that kind of player in him.
Man, I don't know, man. Dante, to me, like your little brother who talk all this junk, but he like wants you to fight his battles.
I remember DJ stopped blocking a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was noticeable.
Dante won't tackle for nothing, man.
No, DJ,
but he was doing better with it this year, man.
He was doing better. He was doing better, but like you can still see he's scared to hit. He will not wrap up for nothing. Like certain guys.
He had that one good play against McLaurin, but that was it.
But when come on, bro. Like I
know, but that was it. Like he just, I don't know.
Dante, there's some guys when they're playing, especially defense, it's like their second nature. It's just second nature to tackle. It's just second nature to cover.
Yeah.
Dante, he got to work to tackle. I mean,
he's scared,
he got,
bro.
All right, I got.
He
was like my son when he was little, and I fussed at him to hurry up mother yard. And he said, "All right," and he'd walk like a frog. He'd walk the slowest you could walk to get something done. I'd be like Dante. Dante, he like, all right, golly, I got to tackle shit far, man.
Right, he's scared, bro.
He didn't like it.
And bro, like he's
certain guys, he's scared.
It's hard to blame him too, bro. Like, he's on like what 5'10", maybe 190 pounds.
Get off the field then. Get off.
He's not. You know what's crazy about that though? You have guys like Keith Taylor who play with their heart out, and he still won't get the starting job for a game. That's crazy.
No, look, if you're scared, don't play football. Get off the field.
Yeah, 100%. But like what I'm saying earlier, I thought that he had gotten better with that, man. Like, I noticed him wrapping up more. He was making plays in the backfield. He was flying to the football. But like something happens where all of a sudden he just plays undisciplined,
right?
And he just he doesn't mind his P's and Q's and shit. Like, he just don't do none of that shit no more. So it's like,
and then when he actually has 2 games back to back where he's really bad, out of the blue he's injured again. So
right,
that reminds me of what's his name, Chris Gamble. Chris Gamble used to be that way. He's one of the best cover corners we ever had, but every summer when it's time to go to training camp, he'd have a hammy that he couldn't go out there in that hot sun work.
Yeah, I mean, yo, G baby, I see you in the comments, man. Why do we sound crazy? Because we're saying that Dante Jackson is playing like trash, and
man, what?
He
G
is playing like
Baby was
that.
good. G Baby loved Joe Brady. His buddy gone now. Now he got to cry.
G Baby on that. G Baby, you sound crazy. For real. Like, look, Joe Brady sucked. Dante's scared to tackle. Like, it's not. We're not making this up. Like, you can go back and watch the film. This guy was shy away from a tackle, bro.
Dante can't line up against number ones. It's as simple as that.
He can't line up against number ones. Like, he gets burnt like all the time, bro. He has to play like 10 yards off somebody so he won't get burnt.
Scary Terry explosion. That's all I'm gonna say.
And let's be real here. Dante's not gonna be a Carolina Panther next year.
Look, I wouldn't pay money to sign him, bro. I wouldn't.
Bro, let me ask you this. What are the players on the team currently that we just cannot do without? That next year they have to be a Carolina Panther.
Reddick.
Give me some.
Maybe Chin. I could say Chin.
Jeremy Chin, Hassan Reddick.
Shaq.
For sure. Nah, I don't know about Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq's an interesting.
Bro, see, look, I've been fighting people. I've been fighting
What about
people
that?
on YouTube, on Twitter about Shaq Thompson. Bro, it's like, yeah, he's playing real good this year, but people got mad at me because I said that he wasn't a Pro Bowl. You know, I don't think that he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Like,
Shaq.
he's had one good year, man.
Right.
He's had one good year.
I want to point out that, you know, before this season was coming, we were all looking forward to the 2022 off season when we can release him from his contract without a major cap hit. So, I mean, everybody was looking at Shaq as, okay, well, we just need to get to 2022 because then we can release his dead ass out there. And now everybody is all up in arms. Oh, he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. I mean, it's a discussion that has to be had.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Let me add Jay Hutch to the stream. Jay, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? Can y'all guys hear me?
Yeah. Just make sure you have some earbuds so that way there's no noise in the background. But yeah.
All right, bet. Hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah, you're good. But go ahead, Brad. I think you were saying something.
No, I was just pointing out, like, you know, it's a discussion we have to have regarding Shaq Thompson. Like, is he going to be a centerpiece of this defense going forward? Because again, you know, back to the same point I made about DJ Moore. If we fire Rule, if Rule's gone at the end of the season, then you've got a player who's been here through two regimes still with a new regime coming in. Are they going to view him with the same amount of gravitas as they do? Yeah, like as the current regime does, you know, or is he going to be a cap casualty?
This is kind of I can't even call it my issue, right? I like that when we signed Matt Rule, we signed him for 7 years, right? And I kind of give them props on the Cam Newton signing only because I just showed you the type of, I don't want to say crow that they could eat, but a way that, when they said, hey, we're looking for the best available, or we're trying to win, they actually meant it. Now, I'll be honest, as a true fan, right? I think the 3-0 got us fucked up in the head because we knew on paper we probably were only going to win 7 to 9 games this year based on our roster, right? Like, Phil Snow did some magic. I mean, what? He took over pretty much the youngest D, made us middle of the pack to basically a top 7 defense this year. Don't get me wrong. We've been getting gashed the last couple of weeks, and we know that we need to improve on the D-line, get a couple of linebackers. But I think the only thing that we can kind of question is some of the questionable decision-making, right? Like the Brady Christensen, like get him out at left tackle. But at this point, Dennis Daly not the answer. We know that, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at the other one. Remember we signed Perryman and we were all happy because we got a linebacker. And then we went with Jermaine Carter, and now he's going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, now Perryman. Yeah, by the way, you can't even make this up. Denzel Perryman is number 2 in the NFL in tackles.
Right.
Right. And if you look at the tackles, right, Jeremy Chin has like 50 of them. Not Jeremy Chin, sorry. Jermaine Carter. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I think we probably need to move Jeremy Chin out of the safety and put him back at linebacker.
So
Steve, but that's the thing. I don't know. I really don't know if he's built to play linebacker like that.
I mean, we can play him like a Buda Baker / Jamal Adams, but I just every time I see him getting torn up in coverage, I mean, I think our cornerback situation is going to be a little bit better next year. I mean, I am going to miss Jackson, even though he was getting cooked the last couple of weeks. But I like that we got J.C. Horn. I don't know how much Stephon Gilmore or A.J. Bouye really have left in the tank. Stephon Gilmore's been great, but I mean,
yeah, Gilmore's going to be fine. And no matter what happens, bro, like I want Gilmore to be on this team next year, man. Like I still think that he's one of the better corners in football, and especially knowing like that we didn't draft a quarterback or a left tackle. We drafted J.C. Horn, and I think J.C. Horn's going to be a great player. I would like someone like Stephon Gilmore to be around J.C. Horn and help him become one of the best corners that he can be right now, man.
All right, so let me ask you this thing, guys. I kind of want to post the room. So what do you guys feel like our quarterback room looks like moving in next year? Are we fine with Cam and Sam next year and then essentially trying to run it back by patching up our offensive line and, that kind of route?
I think PJ might be gone.
I mean,
I don't know. But
are you guys fine basically saying Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, battle it out for QB1? Let's use our draft picks or whatever. Let's fix the line, get a couple more defensive line reinforcements. I'm pretty sure we're going to lose to Sam Reddick, right? Unless we franchise him, I don't think we're about to pay him big money, and he has the numbers to command big money now.
Yeah, but you're just letting all of your sack productions walk out of the door, though.
So I'm just saying, like, either we're going to franchise him or let him walk. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't really see – and then we signed Robbie already, but we don't really have a ton of cap space.
You also got to look out. Depends on who – if we let Rule go at the end of the year, the next head coach may pretty much say Riddick don't fit this team or my defense I want to bring in.
But my thing is –
Riddick is pretty much a pass rusher on a 3-4, but – he can't. He's not thick enough. I don't think to be an every down player pass rush on a 3-4. So there's kind of differences on a lot of your players on whether they fit the next head coach.
Hey, real quick, Julian. Whenever you're not talking, use your microphone. You got a lot of background noise.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. But I mean, look, knowing how many pieces the Carolina Panthers need. Sadly, man, we're in a position where, like, we have to do what we have to do to get players on this team, man. Like Brad mentioned, we need a lot of linebacker help. We need safety help. I mean, listen, if we're going to talk about moving players from one position to another, like, why not just let Dante play free safety? I mean, he's honestly more built for that, I feel, than being one-on-one with a speed receiver.
I believe Dante's gonna sign when he comes back next year. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. He'll go somewhere else. I don't believe he'll even entertain Carolina.
Yeah, I think he's done in Carolina. I don't even think he wants to be here. He's going to want to be here after this season, especially if the regime rotates.
I heard I read on Twitter that him and Bradbury were still really good friends and talk a lot. So he may be headed to New York.
Wait,
I got another hot take. I think we might get rid of 2 CBs this year. I think Dante's going to go, and then I think the second one's either going to be either CJ or AJ.
But we just traded for
CJ.
Yeah,
CJ stays. I think that the next one that will go will be AJ. And I mean, we got enough depth that's fine having CJ, Horn, and Gilmore if we resign him.
And we have the next 4 or 5 years of CJ Henderson's contract.
Yeah. Plus, AJ, he signed a 2-year deal last year, so we're not forced to get rid of him anytime soon.
No, you know what I'm saying? AJ only saves us, I think, about $3 million if we come.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a guy I would keep around even through training camp, just in case somebody don't work out or.
Yeah, I mean, we've been having terrible cornerback play. Yeah. I don't know, for 10 years. I think we're good, right?
He's a guy. AJ's a guy though that I would consider moving to safety. He's got the veteran experience to do it.
Right. I'm more concerned. I look at it like we probably need another defensive tackle, another linebacker, and then a starting safety. So that's 3 on defense. And then on offense, I think we need a left tackle, a left
center.
guard. I think what's the name's holding down center. Pat's holding
I
down
don't know
center.
about tackle.
Pat.
Nah, but see that. All right, listen. Pat Elflein has played better at center, but I'm not gonna pretend like I know that he's the answer in the future either. Like I don't.
So let's
I would also include center in that discussion.
Okay, so let's say left tackle, center, and guard. We need at least 3, right, on the offensive line.
Well, we don't even know, and that's the thing. Brad already knows. Brad already knows what I'm going to say. Kenneth already knows what I'm about to say. The fact that we don't know who Brady Christensen and Deontay Brown are right now means that you've kicked the can a year down the road on evaluating what kind of player you have.
Yeah, that's
because Matt Rule won't play them.
So this is what I think, right? Because, and I mean, I try not to pretend I know more than the coaches, right? But if Dennis Daly is out there looking better in practice than Brady, I think that kind of is our answer.
But that's the thing. So the last 2 weeks before the Miami game, Brady Christensen had graded out as the highest on PFF. It was the highest rated player on our team at left tackle.
But who were we playing that week?
We were playing the Washington football team and the Arizona Cardinals.
Right. Not to say that Arizona's not good, but I mean, you look at they didn't have no Chase Young on that side.
Yeah, but even still, man, it's like how many people believes that Dennis Daly looks better in practice than Brady Christensen?
I believe this is Dennis's last. Well, I don't like Daly. I used to. Daly's lined up at multiple positions this year and has failed in all of them.
And he's done that for multiple coaches because I think he did that with Ron Rivera too. So I'm like,
six-round pick.
And like you said, he's a 6th-round pick. So I don't get what their affinity for him to try him out in these roles are. But I honestly think it has to be because he looks somewhat good in practice.
And anybody that says here's the thing, we just don't know, right? We need to know there are 3 things that we need to know as far as going into next draft. We need to know, can Brady Christensen hold down the left tackle position? Can Deontay Brown play a left guard or right guard?
No.
Right. Those are 2 things we need to know, right? Because
over the next 5 games. Yes.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, like if those 2 men pan out, even if Christensen is a reasonable guard and Deontay Brown is a reasonable guard, then I think, okay, yes, we need to get a left tackle. If Christensen is a reasonable left tackle and Deontay Brown is a starting caliber guard in the NFL, then we need to get a center because I'm going to be honest, center is one of the most important positions on that offensive line.
Yes.
It will help secure the middle of the field so much better.
I look at this, right? We got 5 games left. I mean, I love our squad, right? I think the reason you fired Joe Brady is because he wasn't committed to the run, right? And building this offense, redoing it around Cam, right? So I think the answer to the reason that we switched it to that, and then, I mean, if you look at Joe, I looked at Joe Nixon's background, running backs coach, right? I think he reinvented kind of when Reggie Bush went over there with the Dolphins, like committing to the run game, right? And this is going to be without Christian McCaffrey. So I think we're going to find out more about our offensive line, like you said, putting Brady Christensen in there to see if he can. Because if Brady can't make it on the left tackle, then can he make it in the guard, right? Can we find as much replacements as we can on the offensive line there, right? So we can spend more picks on the D and then filling out some of the rest of the stuff. Because I think we're still, even with Tommy, probably going to go fishing on a tight end again, right? Because Ian's going to be gone. Right, and we can add some level of explosion there. I don't care what we think about Terrence Marshall, but adding another wide receiver or another flavor to our offense, I think is going to be some type of lower round priority too, right? Just to keep our pipeline strong.
Hold on.
Yeah, Josh, me too. And by the way, hold on, before you go, real quick, if you're a fan of good football, the game to be watching right now is the Chargers and the Bengals.
Yeah,
they're going.
I'm all over that one right now,
bro. This game is actually crazy. Y'all should check it out.
Don't you love the fire on the Chargers coaching staff?
Dude, look how often they go for two. They go for two. They're not afraid to go for it on 4th down. Bro, if I'm being real, if I could like handpick any young coach to like be my like who I could pick to be the Panthers coach, it'd probably be this dude, the guy for the Chargers. But that's just me, man. I didn't mean to derail the conversation. Going back to
guys,
center. Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta bail out here, guys. Anyway, great talking to you. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you jumping in and hanging out for a little while, man. Yeah, until next time.
Earlier, you mentioned that we may need help at defensive tackle next year. I think we're good. Remember, Davion Nixon is on IR. He'll be good next year.
Yeah, and Phil Hoskins has played well.
Exactly. So
And
we'll have 4 defensive tackles going into next year.
We've got some pieces to work with, so it'll be fun. But going on the topic of elevating our younger players, what about TMJ? Like before the draft, everybody was kind of hyped about him, being this piece that we could definitely rotate a lot, and he could cause a lot of problems. He's had 14 receptions for like 116 yards, and it just kind of seems like they don't know what to do with him.
I don't think he's been out on the field some. He just he doesn't get open. He just for whatever reason I think some of that's on him being a rookie. I think he's running into a rookie wall, so to speak.
It's a combination of things. It's one, him being a rookie. Number 2, I don't know if you heard the news. Panthers fired their offensive coordinator today.
That might be that.
They're obviously not happy with what our play calling was and how Joe Brady had been coaching. And then the third and maybe the most important thing here, and it's the same thing with DJ Moore. Look how inconsistent and mismanaged our quarterback position has been. Like, yeah, I mean, you're not effectively getting DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson the football. So why should we expect that they would be able to get it to Terrace Marshall Jr.? It's like an unfair expectation, really. And yeah, he's a rookie. And the same thing goes with Shi Smith too. And he's had some injuries that he's been working with and dealing with. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a Carolina Panthers receiver, you're not in a great situation to be successful. Like, that's just the fact of the matter, man. Like, that's why Robbie Anderson is kind of smart for him and his management trying to get him broken off some extra cheddar while he still had the chance to. Because it's like, you wouldn't give him that contract now. For sure you would.
Unless you're Smitty or Muhammad.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't have a Smitty or a Muhammad.
We're still looking for his replacement.
Man,
we ain't got a Smitty or a Muhammad.
We're looking for Jordan Gross's replacement. We're still looking for Kuechly's replacement.
We're still looking for Greg Olsen's replacement.
Smitty for wide receiver coach.
Yeah, there you go. You saw him talking to DJ Moore. Was it a year? How many years ago was it?
Rain Smitty in for wide receiver coach. Rain Luke in for linebacker coach.
He was trying to teach him.
I don't think Smitty would take that job. I don't. Well, listen. If you listen to Steve Smith on NFL Network or even his podcast, I believe some of these guys he just outright deck him and be done with that shit. He'd be the only head coach suspended for fighting a player.
Sometimes what you need though.
It looks like Steve is always ready to swing on Michael Irvin.
Sometimes what you need.
Wait for that to happen for years.
What was the name
humble
of the
some
player,
of these cats.
that Steelers player that he grabbed his jersey? He just kept getting in his face, and he just turned around. And he grabbed him by his jersey with like one hand. That wouldn't fly by today. I can't think of his name. Was his name Clark? It was a corner. It was a corner on the Steelers.
Hey, some of these players need humbling, man.
Yeah,
they prima donnas, bro. They prima donnas.
Bro, what's the dude I just played on this podcast? The guy, he used to play corner. Pac-Man Jones. Pac-Man Jones. Yeah, y'all can't forget how he did him, man.
Yeah, Steve Smith will break him in.
It's like that's what I'm saying. Like, when you go and look back at Steve Smith and Musa Muhammad, it just becomes all the more apparent that
They were dogs,
Carolina
man.
does. Yeah, Carolina doesn't have that dog no more, man. Like,
They were dogs.
shout out to CK on our Tuesday night show. He's been saying Christian McCaffrey is the best receiver on our football team.
I believe he is.
And he might not be wrong about that.
I believe I'd put when Christian comes back next year, regardless of who our head coaches is, I would put Christian McCaffrey as a wide receiver.
Christian's
He
always
would
finding
compete
holes.
for a starting job at wide receiver. So
You got to put in a lot of effort to contain him.
yeah, I think Christian could be the
just
closest thing to Steve Smith that we've had in a long time.
It just makes sense. You put him in. You put him in as a wide receiver. He has all that open space.
Right. You take Steve Smith back in the day and imagine him playing running back full time. That'll give you Christian McCaffrey. That's my opinion. So
yeah, I mean,
slot Steve Smith at working for the OC, not OC, but receivers coach.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would love to have Christian on this team long term, and we're going to no matter what. Because if you look at the way his contract is set up, like even if we did trade him, we would be eating a bunch of dead money anyway. Right. So, like Christian McCaffrey is a part of this football team. So, yeah, I think it behooves us to either dramatically lessen his load or dramatically increase the amount of snaps that he takes at wide receiver. And I know most of the fan base has been calling for that. I'm not opposed to it. I don't mind putting TMC in the slot more at all. But the question is whether or not he wants to do that.
Well, you're right. But if you're the head coach and you say, here's what you're going to do, he says, well, I don't want to. And he says, well, here's another paper. Sign this contract to release it from cap space and you go your own way. There's teams out there that'll do that real quick. I mean, imagine a player telling Bill Belichick, I'm not going to do something.
Do y'all feel like CMC be like kind of like maybe like faking these injuries, man, like self-preservation type deal? Like once we feel like we're not going anywhere, his agent probably like, hey man, just act like you got a hamstring injury so we can like save you, man. Like, cause like what's the chances of him getting another big contract with us?
I mean, maybe there's
or even one.
I definitely think there's some planning, even if it's not necessarily Christian saying, let me just not play the rest of the season. I do think a lot of that factors into when the Panthers make a decision.
Pat Coltrane hit on that too. He said some.
Yeah, 100%. Like if your coaches know that you're already trying to turn around the football team for next season, then that's why you wouldn't, you would put a player on IR and almost kind of save him from himself. By the way, this is literally the exact thing that we wanted Ron Rivera to do with Cam Newton back in the day. When Cam Newton was clearly hurt and getting worse game after game, it's like you wanted Ron Rivera to save him from himself and put Cam on IR because he wasn't going to do it of his own volition. So sometimes you have to save a player, and I kind of think that's what happened with Christian. Because, look, I don't want to take nothing away from Christian himself. Like, the mentality that he has, the kind of skill that he has. Like, Christian is incredible. My problem is not with him or anything that he does or says. Like, the dude is a baller. No one's taking that away from him. It's just when you pay him so much money to be the main part of your offense, and meanwhile, you can't keep him healthy for more than 3 games in a row, if that, maybe. So it's like I really have a tough time with this CMC conversation.
I think something that could help him is maybe adding like somebody like a big-bodied fullback, like a Dukes Johnson, just to kind of help like take that weight off like by quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, like I love Abdullah, but like having like Royce Freeman, Chuba, Abdullah, like doesn't really help when that O-line is terrible. I mean, have somebody that can, punch through a couple people. Might be able to extend his life.
And we have a dude, don't we? Isn't that what Giovanni Ricci is?
Oh yeah.
I don't think so. I know he's supposed to carry that role. I do.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
I'm not trying to disrespect the dude. Giovanni Ricci is a tight end who they liked but didn't have enough room in the tight end room, and they needed for somebody to fill a spot, so they're going to give it to him because he ain't had no carry runs. And I've often what you're talking about. I've often called him a pure power back. I think that's the coach's decision that we ain't got one. I think there's guys out there all over the place to get, but it's just Matt Rule doesn't think he needs one.
Yeah, and then I almost can't blame him though. Most of the NFL doesn't utilize a fullback anymore. Like that's just something that you don't really see too much today. But I mean, hey, how about this? A lot of people wanted us to put Tommy Tremble in the backfield and just let him be a big, tough, badass mofo.
Well, you know what?
And let him go.
I want to see why they don't at least try it. What's it going to hurt?
I would say grab a fullback because Christian McCaffrey is a bit of a smaller running back than compared to everybody else.
Well, yeah, I agree. But it's hard right now. It's hard to find a good, pure. It's hard to find the type of fullback you need there.
Yeah, beefy dude.
Yeah, and a lot of them. I mean, granted, there was one floating out in last cuts, one of the best fullbacks that was in this past draft, but the coaching staff had Giovanni Ricci, so they were happy.
And by the way, on a completely different note, why is it that every player or like every team that plays the Panthers, like we've all been having questions about Tua Tagovailoa, right? And oh man, isn't he the quarterback? Are they going to trade for Deshaun? Oh, they took him over Justin Herbert. Bro, all you need to do is play the Panthers, and it will do you a world of good. Not only did Tua Tagovailoa ball out on us, but dude, even today, I'm watching Red Zone. He just dropped a dime on Jalen Waddle, man. So it's like, why is it that every single bad team the Panthers play, not only do we make them look better, but they start to get more confidence after they play us, man. It's like, God, we're the best thing that could happen to them.
Cody, if I was Tua, the very last game of this year, I'd have to get on the media and I'd have to say, how you like me now? And I'd have to on national media. Now, he probably won't do this, but on national media, don't you know he wants to look at the owner and the GM and maybe the head coach who at one time wanted to go out and get Watson and say, won't you go get him now?
See, that would have been me, man. That would have been me. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, man, remember y'all was talking all that shit? Yeah, here I am, say it again.
That's crazy because like the Eagles and Miami were both talks for the Deshaun Watson trade, and I think they're going to keep both their quarterbacks for another year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Miami gets stupid,
ain't that something?
If Miami gets stupid and gets Watson, I would gladly give up a first pick for Tua. I know we've done that before, but Tua's playing damn good right now.
Yeah, first pick for who?
Another one.
For Tua Tagovailoa.
First pick for who?
Tua.
Hell no.
Wait, he would die here. He would die here, though, man.
Yeah,
right.
Quarterback die behind our O line.
And see, here's the deal. And here's my only thing about Tua, man. Let's say he finishes off the year fantastic with nothing but 300-yard passing performances. To me, it still doesn't answer the questions about his injury concerns. Like, that dude is hurt every season, and he has been since college. So that concerns me about him.
Right.
Okay, let me ask you this, and just as hypothetical, because I would rather fix up the offensive line myself, okay? But
yeah, me too.
If Matt Rule stays, we're going to get another quarterback. I just believe it in my being we will, just because that's what Matt Rule does. If you had to give up a first pick, if you had to give up a first pick for Tua or one of the rookies in the draft,
neither.
Bro,
I'm not agree with you. I do, but you watch what I tell you. Matt Rule's going to draft a quarterback, regardless of whether the offensive line's healthy or not.
It's amazing because like the two games that the O-line played really well on with the Washington and was it the Arizona game, like. Yep. PJ looked great. Cam looked great. It's clearly it doesn't matter who you stick behind that O-line. Everybody's going to perform.
I've been screaming to fix this O-line for 4 years now.
Yeah,
everyone
4 or 5 years.
On this podcast, we've been chanting, "Build that wall."
And I'll often discuss this. His name slips me all the time. The Chargers left tackle, the rookie,
Rashawn Slater.
You remember.
My number one tackle.
Yep. Matt Rule said he wasn't a tackle. He's a guard. If Matt Rule would have drafted him, he'd have probably never seen the field.
Because he don't know shit. Matt, this is what we've all had to find out the hard way.
And, I mean,
Matt Rule is a poor evaluator of talent.
Right.
Just bar none.
So if nothing changes, do you really expect Matt Rule to build a quality offensive line?
No.
I
don't. But that's why it makes me sad that I think you're right. I think he is going to be here next year. Yeah. And I don't put it past him to bring in a quarterback either. Just because it's something that I mean, again, I haven't done my evaluations yet. And by the way, let me say that now, man. We got 96 people watching. We've been going for I think about 2 hours now, something like that. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, man, please do so. That helps us grow the channel, get seen by more people. I had no intentions of going live today, man, but this ended up being a pretty fun show. I'm happy that everybody was able to come in and hang out and be a part of this, man. It's weird times to be a Panther fan, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Like my man Trill once says, hit them thumbs up and help us get seen by more and more people.
This called me hard though.
Say what?
I said that Joe Brady fired and called me off guard. I wasn't expecting that, bro. I had just came in from the grocery store. I was like, what in the what? I was like, bro, what? And I just got happy, man. I started yelling and everything.
And to bring it back to Joe Brady, man, like, look, I think that. How about this? Let me. I'll poll the room and the chat room. Whoever wants to answer this. Do y'all think Joe Brady gets one of these college jobs, or where do you think, if any place, we're going to be seeing Joe Brady's name pop up next?
I keep hearing Oklahoma.
I believe Joe Brady will be the offensive coordinator of LSU. That's my opinion. I don't believe he gets the head coach.
Not be a head coach.
Oklahoma could easily offer him the job right now, and now I could see the Oklahoma deal, but I could also see him going back to LSU to be the full-time offensive coordinator, because he's still never been a full-time offensive coordinator.
Did Brian Kelly did Brian Kelly bring a bunch of staff over there? I don't know how many people he's like implemented, or if he's like. Or what they're doing. I don't know.
He offered the job to he offered the offensive coordinator the job to the same guy he had at Notre Dame, and he turned it down. The guy at Notre Dame said no, he's staying. So he's still looking for an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that might be it.
And
I think you're right, man. That might be it.
If Joe Brady could easily just sit out for the next month and maybe hope an NFL team comes squalling, or he could just go back to college and get a job right away.
Yeah.
He may get more money in college than he does in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be offered an NFL head coach.
Especially when you see what these colleges are paying coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. That might be the place to be, man. Look up what USC gave Lincoln Riley. Bro, they gave that man a king's ransom to go from Oklahoma to USC, man.
All I know is that next week, within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a lot to talk about with the changing of the guard.
Yeah, Matt, do you think Joe Brady ends up somewhere next? Or
I said Oklahoma. I think honestly, that's what I keep seeing, so I could see it. But I think LSU would be even a better fit. Makes more sense.
Rock, what you think, man? You thought you like this move of us firing him. So do you think you're gonna see him somewhere else?
Man, I would say his best bet would be to go to LSU and be like an offensive coordinator. But head coaching, I feel like if he go take any head coaching position, I don't care if it's NFL or college, he's gonna fail, man. He's gonna fail horribly.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just on here. It's being reported now that Brent Venables been hired as Oklahoma head coach.
Oh, is that real?
This article I'm looking on now is at DraftKings, and they've just posted it today at 11:23.
So Oklahoma got a head coach.
Yeah, Brent Venable.
Brent Venable.
This is being reported off DraftKings.
Has anybody confirmed that? ESPN.
I'm gonna look it up right
Twitter,
now.
Yeah, I'm on TigerNet. I haven't seen it. I mean, God, man, this is a terrible day, man.
ESPN. Here's 6 hours ago. ESPN said Oklahoma was set to finalize a deal to hire Clemson, DC. So it may not be finalized, but that apparently they're working at getting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
damn it.
No, I would say, I don't know. We in Carolina, Joe Brady's pretty much developed a reputation as a smart guy who still don't know enough. Unless you're going to pair him with an experienced, per se, an Andy Reid, I could see now maybe if Andy needed an offensive coordinator, Andy could hire him and kind of let him learn under Andy. That would be good for Joe Brady. But I don't think Joe Brady's going to wait that long. I think there's too many people going to offer that man some money to come play offensive coordinator.
Hey, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. I am way more. I mean, if you didn't know, I'm a Clemson fan. So I am way more pissed off about my Tigers losing Brent Venables than I am my Panthers losing Joe Brady. I'll tell you that for sure, man. Venables has been one of the very best defensive minds in all of football for a long time, man. So it's like, damn, dude, that's a shot right there, man. He's been the reason why Clemson's defense has been one of the best in the country for years, man. So it's like this sucks if that's true. But he has connections there. He was at Oklahoma once upon a time before.
Yeah.
And there's been other coaching jobs that have come up and people haven't inquired about before. But Venables never left, man. Clemson retains a lot of their coaches. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is real. Like, in fact, I fucking know it's real. But by the way, there better not be no salty ass Gamecock fans up in this chat room. Y'all didn't score not a single. Y'all didn't get a field goal. Y'all ain't allowed to say shit to me as long as my ass is moderating this chat, bro. So
hey, listen,
what?
I'm a Tennessee fan, and I'll just say that at least my team made a bowl game this year. That's just all I'll say. I'm just happy they made a bowl game, and they actually have a head coach worth a fart.
Bro, my teams are down bad, man. My teams are down bad, and it sucks, and I'm hating it, but I don't know. It is what it is, man. So, look, I'm about to get out of here. Before I go, I'm going to get everyone's opinion real quick. Do you trust this offense to get better now that Joe Brady is not the offensive coordinator? We'll start with you, Ken.
No. Wait a minute. They'll run more. They will run more. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Fact is, I'm going to say it. I'm going to call. We're going to go out and Dontae Brown, and
Dontae Brown,
Brady Christian, and Brady Christensen both will start on the offensive line Sunday. I believe that. I think we'll run more, but I don't know. I don't think we're actually going to win a lot. I don't think we're going to be better. We'll just
but I mean that's my question is simply this: like, do you expect at least the offense to look better under a different play call? And that's because I'll
say yeah. I'll say yeah.
Okay, all right, Matt. What do you think, bro?
I'm sorry. So, God.
Do you expect this offense to be better after Joe Brady's firing?
It's so hard. It's because this guy doesn't have really any experience taking on an OC position. Now, obviously, Matt Rule's going to help.
I'm going to say yes because we might see those rotational pieces like Christensen and everybody else start to come in and maybe fill the holes. And maybe we find a solution to the left side of the O-line. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we can hope for, that this firing causes us to, at least look at what we have on the roster.
As for the quarterbacks and the receivers, though, I don't know. I think something has to click between them personally, as well as play calling to be elevated in order for them to be successful against Atlanta and the Bills. Because the Bills is the big game. I would say that arguably is the big game besides the two Buccaneers games. That's the game that. God, those are the two big games, and I feel like we're gonna have a hard time against the defense on the Bills. So,
yeah, that's reasonable, man. That's reasonable. Jay Hutch, you still here? Jay Hutch. All right, we'll go to Rock. Rock, I know you still with me, bro.
Yeah, I'm here, bro. Oh
yeah,
man,
do you think this offense is gonna now that Joe Brady is gone? Do you expect this offense to perform better than it has?
Man, I'm on the line with it, man. I don't know, man. It's like you said, the guy doesn't have any real experience, but at the same time, Joe Brady sucks so bad. I mean, I feel like anybody can get in there and do better. So I know one thing for sure, we're gonna find out Sunday.
Yep. And real quick, Nick and y'all might have Carolina on your jersey, but y'all might not even be the third best team in the Carolinas, bro. But you're smoking, dog. Come on. Yeah, man. And look, y'all kind of already know my opinions. I think this team is DOA. Like, unless Cam Newton figures out how to put the Superman cape back on, which it's not like he has an inability to do so.
I don't think we DOA, Cody.
I mean,
I don't think we DOA, man. We got all this talent, man. We got too much talent to be DOA.
Yeah, but we've had that talent all year, man. Where's it been at?
But we had Joe Brady all year too.
Yeah, but our coaches, like our coaches they're not performing to a level that utilizes the best of this talent. So like it's not even our players that I'm doubting, man. It's more so our coaches and our coaches' ability to put them in a position to be successful. Because I don't think they do that at all, man. Like,
yeah, they don't.
Man, so look, y'all, I wasn't even intending to go live today, but look, here we are, man. We've been like, let's see. I think we've been over 2 hours. Yeah, man, we're over 2 hours in this joint, bro. I was supposed to be chilling, watching football.
Me too, man. I was catching the buzz.
Yeah, man, time went on, man. That's what I'm about to go do right now, man. So
sipping on my Kettle One.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, well, I appreciate y'all. To everybody that joined today, man, I definitely appreciate it. If you don't know, we do this every Friday at 7 p.m. The Friday free-for-all. And once again, that's free for anyone to join. I post the link to the StreamYard so y'all can come on and hang out and talk Panthers. Does anybody have anything that they plug before they want to get out of here?
Hey, maybe with the changes, whoever's at OC now, maybe we don't end up having our third 5-win consecutive season.
Yep. Hey, real quick, Bartholomew wants to know this. We support absolutely everybody, man. C3 Panthers podcast got love for absolutely everybody. The only thing that you have to do is love the Carolina Panthers. If you can do that, you're good with us, man, no matter what. No matter what. So, yeah, man.
We talk football, not sex preference.
Yeah, we don't care who you are, where you come from, what God you believe in, who you make love to, man. You just got to love the Carolina Panthers. That's it. That is it. But, does anyone have anything, like I said, that they want to plug or mention or say before we jump out of here?
Nah, bro.
No, it's going to make tomorrow a lot more interesting on the radio.
Yep.
At work, where I work at, where I live in Tennessee, I listen to Charlotte radio station a lot on my headphones, so it's convenient and a little news like this gonna make listening to a lot more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, everybody, I've been your host, Cody Lashley. I appreciate everybody coming and joining. To everybody who watched, please hit the thumbs up, the like, the subscribe. If you want to help grow C3 Panther Nation. That's it for your boy. We will see you all on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for another edition of the C3 Panthers podcast. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.